Hello friends from Rosarito Beach, Mexico, Baja, California. Hope this video is finding you happy, healthy, and well.
We thought it was probably time for a what we call vlog update. Sorry for the radio silence, but you know, we've been having our time down here.
And times have not necessarily been good, and it's hard to share things when they just aren't good. And I know some of this may seem petty, but it's real life, and we thought there'd be value in sharing what we've been going through over the past couple months.
Well, we'll just jump right into the crappy updates so we can get to the good updates. As most of you know, we started our time in Mexico last November in La Misión. And if you have been around for a while, you know that the first place didn't quite work out due to some serious teeth-chattering road noise. And
that I tried to prevent. But I feel like we were misrepresented.
You're right.
Because I clearly asked about the road noise.
Repeatedly.
There was a pivot. Yeah.
There was another unit that was coming available in January. So we went home, did the holidays with family, which was wonderful. Mm-hmm. We had a great time seeing all of the parents and lots of friends.
But the second place, it was not perfect either. There was still an inherent amount of road noise, but it had the beautiful ocean view.
Yes.
It was a lot larger. As for the quality of the place, it was like a hodgepodge of clutter and old, outdated, used, vintage, antique things. And there's a lot of clutter.
And a lot of space for dirt and dirtiness. And the dirt was a lot to get it kind of to like a standard that we would tolerate for cleanliness.
We spent 10 hours on the day we moved in just getting it to the point where we would want our belongings to actually come out of their bags. And then the hosts were kind enough. They were an American couple in their later years, I guess. Yeah. Nice enough folk. Their housekeeper cleaned about 20 hours worth just to get it to a modest level. And they were nice enough to have Vita's labor covered. Mm-hmm. But
so once we got the cleanliness
dealt
with, then it became like a constant repair issue. To the point that there was always somebody knocking on our door to fix whatever was broken next. The propane tank, the furnace, the fireplace, the electricity, the broken windows, I can't even remember all of them.
We are getting kind of ahead because you're wondering, what about the propane? So what about the windows and the water? So I'm going to take my eyes off the camera and go here to the list. Let's see. So we were just not very comfortable or relaxed in there. The mattress. It was not a very high quality mattress to begin with, and it was probably decades old on a rickety bed frame, and it was probably one of the most uncomfortable mattresses I had ever slept on.
To this day, he still lays down in the bed we have now, and he's like, oh my God, this bed's so comfortable.
The other thing was the hot water, or lack thereof. We put up with this for about 2 months. There was an on-demand hot water heater that was not an adequate size for the building and ancient and maybe being patched with used stuff. And we put up with no warm water consistently for 2 months. Most of the time it was cold. And then 2 months later, they did put a quality new on-demand hot water heater that did the job. And we had hot showers, but
I will never forget having a head full of hair color, and stepping into the shower. And I checked before I started, and it was warmish to ice cold, and having to, you know how if you color your hair, how long it takes to wash color out.
I don't.
Well,
I've seen you.
They probably do.
So Beck also mentioned a propane tank that had rusted out. Apparently this rusty propane tank got filled, and when it got filled, it plugged up the something in our fireplace, which was one of those non-vented.
And our stove.
Yeah, the stove was emitting, but mainly the fireplace. Something happened in there, and there was this soot coming out that was so fine that it almost looked like a little haze in the room when the sun was just coming at just the right angle. But it also coincidentally happened at a very horrible time. It was a rough winter along the West Coast, and there were a lot of storms. And there was about a week or so of consistent power outages on our stretch of the coast here when that happens. But the problem was because they also didn't have a functioning backup generator. It was rusted and not maintained. And what really irked us is we went 3 days without electricity, trying to do our thing working. We would go to the convenience store and get our metal bowls and fill them with ice so our food didn't perish. But come to find out, those 3 days, the owners had an extension cord from their neighbor's property over to theirs. So they had plenty of electricity while the 3 rental units were all going without. That was super insulting.
And they didn't try to fix the generator until the 3rd night.
Yes. And what could have been resolved in 1 day, run up to Home Depot or Costco, come back down with a generator, it was a week-long nightmare. And I'm glad it's behind us, though, on that. So I'm going to take my eyes off the lens again. So we talked about the power outage. Oh, when your mom came to visit for your birthday.
So honestly, this is the point where I realized, like, up to this point, I was feeling like we're just being too picky.
Yeah.
We're always, getting ourselves into these situations, and we just have to live with it. And my mom showed up, and she's like, "Oh my God, Beck, I can't believe you guys have been doing this." But while she was there, as Ben said, really bad rainstorms. And she stayed in a guest room that we didn't otherwise use or hadn't used prior to this point. I think your dad stayed in it for a few nights once. But when the rain hit, then her windows started leaking. I mean, lots of water. There was pools of water all over the floor. And then mold started growing on the wall, which typically tells you, if that happens that fast, that it's not a brand new leak.
Yep. It's just overall not relaxing. The constant road noise was always there. The dogs, the host had 3 dogs, so there was like the clicking from their dogs upstairs, and that wasn't too bad. The neighbors had the most annoying dog that barked all the time. Like, I could not record consistently. Because
part of why we didn't do videos was it wasn't a space conducive, not only because of the psychological state we were in, but just the noise too. Like, not really productive.
No, I would get all set up to record, and then the neighbor's dog would bark, or the neighbor, and I don't take this as being criticism, he had this hobby of doing stuff with a grinder and abalone shells. Abalone shells are beautiful. Totally cool. But the neighbor's like 10 feet away, got a grinder outside, get all set up, ready to record a nice educational video about Europe, and the noise just goes to shit. And then, after the propane debacle, it sooted up the ceilings. So then they had to, the cleaning crews had to come in and wipe it all down, but then everything was so stained because the walls weren't too bad because they were like a gloss paint.
They spent 30
but the roof,
hours. To give you a sense of how bad it was, 30 hours
amongst
of
3
labor
people.
Amongst 3 people trying to clean up
just
the mess.
To wipe off the soot.
Everything.
And so we're supposed to record in here. We got these swirl marks of soot. It was just not good. And I know we are paying about $15, $25 a month there. And that's nothing compared to north of the border. It was just very, very rough. What else?
Very disappointing.
And And there was also, they had a 3-story building, so there's a residential elevator right by our door, which hey, I thought that was great if they had to move stuff up and down. But still, the fact there's an elevator by the door, it's like, oh, it's noise
and
everywhere.
If everything else had been okay, it would have been fine.
Yeah. There were a few good things, though. I liked the beach. And it was
amazing.
Really good for fishing. I started
really
catching
long beach. We
fish
could go long walks.
on a reliable basis. I was getting it figured out. Yep. We started exercising. That big living room was good. I was watching these YouTube videos and we were doing our thing. And we have actually continued that. So we've been here, give or take, about 2 months. And unless I was doing a colonoscopy prep day, which turned out fine, by the way, just routine. Or we were traveling, I have hit the gym here at our new place every single day. And that was one of our goals, is to come out of the winter better than we came into it. So wrapping up this portion of the video for La Mission, we had to get out of there. It was not working. So we went to the hosts and they had $2,000 of our money, a 500.
Deposits.
Yeah, deposits. 2025. And we didn't want to get shorted. But yet at the same time, really their end of the rental agreement has not necessarily been upheld because the place was such a disaster. But thankfully, we parted ways fairly. Nobody got shorted any money. Nobody took home any extra money. It was just a clean split. And
we left the way we came.
So, and then we went off to find this place and salvage the winter.
Yeah. So we spent a good bit of time looking around for the right place and found a lovely local lady that helped us find this condo.
Yeah.
It wasn't at all what we thought we wanted to do when we first booked. It's in a high-rise condo building. And that wasn't like high on our list of places to stay. But it really has proven to work out. It's peaceful.
It's been easy.
Quiet. Everything works. Everything's clean.
You would think having a neighbor over there, neighbor over there, neighbor over there, neighbor down there, it would be a lot more noisy. But it is very quiet here.
We have a swimming pool and jacuzzi and a workout room we use every day. And
so one thing I want to circle around. Where was our mistake in all this?
Oh, yeah. Good point. I think our mistake, we agree, our mistake actually was last November when we came to La Mission for those few days and realized the first unit just wasn't going to.
It was on the highway.
We probably should have pivoted then, and we could have salvaged the whole winter short of, December.
Yeah.
But, hindsight's 20/20, live and learn.
So we have also learned a few things.
Yeah.
We have learned that we are perfectly happy living in Baja California, Mexico.
It almost feels normal now.
It does. It feels like home. We have spent so much time down here over the years. And we have also learned that when you're looking at places, like, I really think sometimes with all our efforts, we make life more difficult than it needs to be. And this is a very prominent pattern with Airbnbs when you're traveling, but if at all possible, before you sign a 6-month lease or anything like that, just see the place in person. Maybe rent it for a night or two, because we've made some friends here in, they're kind of like us, digital nomads, and they do the Airbnb thing when they travel, but
and they'll book a place for a week.
Yeah.
So they have the week to look around in the area and find one in person that they want. And we think that's kind of smart.
Definitely.
If you choose to travel instead of have a stationary life, the reality is you choose to add complications and challenges to your life. But we're learning, with adding this additional option for travel and staying places, how to navigate that a little more effectively.
But it seems like every kitchen is missing something. So eventually, we were joking around with Eric and Damien that you end up with this giant box of your own kitchen place, because one place has a colander, but it doesn't have a can opener. So you end up buying a can opener. And then the next place
has really nice pots and pans, but no dishes.
Yeah. So, what have we been doing? Well, unfortunately, with the recording environment of the last place, I have not been doing much recording. And just truth be told, the non-overlanding travel videos were kind of flopping. So, if our goal was to focus on ourselves and take time for ourselves and relax, I wanted to spend my time differently. So I joined on one of Rebecca's businesses and we've been working together.
Yeah.
And
You're such a good employee.
Yeah, she's a great boss.
With
Fringe benefits are great. On that note, there's a big question. When are we returning to Europe? Yeah, we do
that means
have a
we have
van
to
there.
talk about another complication that arose, and now we're trying to decide.
But probably in the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I don't really feel like returning there in peak tourist season. I don't know. I'm not a tourist season kind of guy.
Right now, the price of tickets in the fall, we could buy 2 for the price of what 1 is right now. So it's not a great time to go back.
So that little Honda that we bought, it was an awesome little car. Mm-hmm. It got wonderful fuel economy. It was clean, well cared for, comfortable enough for a Honda Civic and my size. But unfortunately, it developed a coolant leak and it was a cracked engine block. Apparently, I did some research, but until you Google Honda Civic cracked engine block specifically, you're not always going to find all the flaws of some of these vehicles.
And it was only a couple of years that this happened.
Yeah, it was a manufacturing defect in the casting of the aluminum block. And it had a 10 years of warranty, but that expired 5 years ago for us. So we had to get something new, and we opted to just get something nicer that isn't
last for the next 15 or 20 years.
Yes, because as you guys know, we like to keep things for a very long time. Like we have a 98 F-150 in our driveway at home. So stay tuned for that video. It is an amazing adventure vehicle for this continent.
Yes, and so comfortable.
Yes. So Denny now has a sibling named Denise. We'll just leave it at that. Stay tuned for the video. Taking my eyes off. So there's chatter about us going home to Alaska for the summer.
Yeah, for a couple months. House needs a little bit of TLC. Wouldn't hurt if we were there to oversee it.
Do some of the little TLC stuff too.
Yeah, and we could do so many of the things and not have to pay somebody.
Well, we're also thinking about circling back to more of Alaska life. Mm-hmm. So there's a property that we would like to go look at that has some cabins, and we would like to expand our rental business. Sweet. And there's just something about Alaska. We keep talking about where would we want to go if we want to just like kind of really take a good long break. Well, really, Alaska is it. You got no state income tax. Most of the places don't have a state sales tax.
City sales tax.
Or city sales tax. But there's all kinds of amazing benefits, and you can go hunting and fishing and to some degree live off the land in a modern world. Mm-hmm. And Alaska still holds a special place in our hearts. But one thing that we both agree on is we don't like Seward anymore. Seward can suck it, in my opinion, because the weather has just, I don't want to go into the whole global warming thing, but things are warming up. So It used to start snowing in October. Well, now it may not start snowing until January or February, and you just have 4 months of the most miserable, god-awful rain that you could ever.
September was the rainy
season. Maybe 6 weeks of
August to January some years.
Yeah. It's actually quite miserable to live in a rainforest.
Even more than that, too, like things have changed a lot in Seward since we moved there. There's no movie theater anymore. There's not as many things to go do. Whereas some other parts of Alaska, there's movie theaters and bowling alleys and community centers and just like more stuff.
We would like to go look at some properties that have cabins on the Kenai Peninsula.
Yep.
Okay, it's time for the Lucy update. Come on, let's go get in front of the tripod.
And the moment you've all been waiting for, we know it. The Lucy update.
Yeah, the star of the show.
The one everybody really loves and comes to see, right? Now, she's been amazing. She's had a wonderful winter with lots of room to run around and play and chase her balls and go to the beach.
Lots of dog friends.
Lots of new doggy friends, and a lady right up just like down the hall that brings her treats, homemade treats all the time. Tell Chris thank you.
Yeah. Lucy goes to the jacuzzi and swimming pool and just sits and hangs out with us. This place is
She sits on
quite
one of the
amazing
chairs.
in its own way for somebody looking for an easy slice of life.
But she's so adaptable, and she's just like, okay, now we live here. As long as my humans are here, I'm okay. So
Still, say it all the time with this. Lucy is the best, sweetest, most eager to please, smartest dog you could ever imagine. So that's a wrap for this vlog update. Just also stay tuned for the adventure vehicle that we got, and we'll do, once the housekeeper comes, we'll do a tour of this place and show you another side of this whole digital nomad life in Baja California.
thanks for
That knee nudge means start to close out. Can't see I'm nudging down there.
Thanks for joining us. Hope you guys are all having a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye.